Well, James Ellroy, unless folks were over at the Border store, maybe, on occasion, maybe they haven't seen you yet.
In Kansas City?
You're one of our most celebrated citizens by now.
Yeah, I am vying to boost out George Brett and become Mr. Kansas City. George Brett is stale bread. I'm the man.
Well, you've got a good batting average so far.
Yes, 1,000 as far as books are concerned. Of course, people aren't throwing little hard balls in my face all the time.
And with LA Confidential, the fact that you're here is rare for those of us that interview people, because writers oftentimes seem to disappear when the book is made into a movie.
I am thrilled to be able to go out and enthusiastically endorse this film.
Mm-hmm. And why do you endorse the film? Because many changes have been made from your book.
Because it's a hell of a film, and it stands as a salutary, cohesively plotted, and definitive visual version of my book, despite the deletions that were absolutely necessary to bring it down to a viable time frame.
LA Confidential, 1953.
Yes.
The Los Angeles Police Force.
Yes.
There's a movie marquee that says, "When Worlds Collide." There's a lot of collisions going on in this police force, aren't there?
Yes, yes. All the harbingers of the 1965 Watts riots, the Rodney King incident, the Rodney King riots, and the O.J. Simpson verdict are starting to percolate in 1953 L.A. Mm-hmm. There's trouble in Tinseltown.
The trouble also involves media. How do the media and the police force get tangled up here?
Back in the 50s, LA cops were providing the scandal sheets with the inside skinny on Hollywood celebrities. Caught at all-male Tomcat houses, celebrities busted for dope, homosexuals, nymphomaniacs, satyrs, drunks, peepers, prowlers, perverts, panty sniffers, punks, and pimps.
This is off-screen.
The LAPD busted them all and fed the information to the scandal rags.
Now, it sounds to me like, even though you left Los Angeles long ago, that it's never been out of your head, I guess.
It is consciously out of my head in that I have set my most recent books out of Los Angeles and made a conscious decision to get out of LA literally when I got out of there literally in 1981. Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of us are crime fiction buffs, but you have, in several quotes, really taken on Raymond Chandler.
Yeah.
And his ilk. Could you explain that a little bit? What's wrong with the Raymond Chandler school?
I do not buy Raymond Chandler's books at all. I think they're fraught with bad writing, with easy writing. I think that he has been so successfully, and by successfully I mean financially, imitated over the years because he's essentially a cheap shot writer. I think he's schmaltzy. I think his noble loner myth is rebop and jive. And I think, compared to Dashiell Hammett and some others, he knows absolutely nothing about people.
However, in terms of prose style, does he at least point the way towards the fact that a writer can hone a fine-tuned prose?
I think it's bad prose, most of it. Raymond Chandler. You look at his big four novels, and a lot of bad writing. But let's not talk about Raymond Chandler. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about me, let's talk about LA Confidential, the book and the movie.
And let's talk about a kind of prose that's terse and clipped and
ugly.
What's the percussive, I guess is a good word.
Yes.
Do you hear it in your head, or do you look at it on a page?
I hear it in my head. I feel the words. I say the words to myself. I talk out loud as I write. It has to be a perfect ordering of words, expositing the perfect amount of information in every sentence of the entire book, or I'm not satisfied.
And you draw upon a well of experience that you confront head on. You're not a writer who's avoiding bad things in your life. You seem to actually use them as fodder.
Well,
is that fair?
I think you're talking about my mother's murder in June of 1958 when I was 10 years old. I recently went back and reinvestigated my mother's murder for 15 months and turned it into a book. The paperback version of the book is out now. The book is called My Dark Places. And my mother's death engendered in me a tremendous curiosity for all things criminal. Police work, crime, detection, psychosexual behavior, LA's social history and LA's criminal history. All these elements are the ones that I utilized in LA Confidential, the novel.
Writer turned detective?
Writer turned detective turned back to memoirist.
I'm happy to have you in Kansas City.
John, I'm
James
thrilled
Ellroy.
to be in Kansas City.
Right.